job or a business was own and operate 4 Subway sandwich franchises.
Okay, fantastic. And as I said, you've been in the business 10 years and 9 years. Okay, sorry about that. And what are your achievements in the business today?
So in the 9 years, I've got to the level of group leader. I have qualified for obviously a mini and some share options. So, and the holiday. Went on a holiday of a lifetime to Vegas in 2012. And I'm still alive.
Fantastic. So that's a good thing. Vegas, tell us a little bit about Vegas. What was that? Camping? Where did you
yeah,
stay
we
in Vegas?
was camping out at the Bellagio, the one with the fountains out the front, for a week. As usual with the utility warehouse holiday, all expenses paid, an envelope of cash given to you for all the times that we weren't together, having a fantastic meal, trips on to the Grand Canyon via helicopter, etc. You know, you've seen lots and lots of images from lots of holiday takers, and I don't like the term winners, because you don't win it, because that denotes luck. You earn it. So I think it should be a different title, but hey, it's not my company, so what I think doesn't actually matter.
Right, okay. So you mentioned the mini there, and I know that, remembering back, that you qualified for the mini quite quickly. How long did it take you to actually qualify to get the 75 customers?
So that happened in 10 months.
10 months? 10 months. Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. And what made you want to actually go for the mini? What was it that, you know, sort of like attracted you to the mini?
So when I first started, my sponsor, who a lot of people probably know, is Jogger Shoka, and he had a mini, and he came to do like what we call a fast start meeting at my house, and we were just going through it. My children were off out on a play date, and one of the dads had dropped around their child to go off on this play date, and he actually said to me, what's this all about? And I was like, oh my goodness, because those who have been in the business a long time, we used to have a prospecting DVD called What's It All About? And I thought, oh my goodness, he wants to know what it's all about from this then yellow mini parked outside my house. I gave him a DVD and he joined my business. So in my mind, it's like, well, if you have a mini, people are going to ask you to join the business. So I thought, I've got to get me one of those.
Okay, so there was the goal. And first of all, just to tell, because I know we've got some brand new people on the call, and I mentioned 75 personal customers. What are the other criteria to qualify for a mini?
So you need to be team leader, which means at least having 3 qualified distributors in your team, and obviously a group of at least 50. And the 75 personal customers and a residual income, I believe it's now £150 a month, maybe 175. I have to check, and because I can't remember, because it has slightly changed because of the quick rules. But if you want to find out anything about the compensation plan, especially the car plan, I urge you to go to the partner portal where it says resources, type in business opportunity, and it will tell you to download it, and you can go to the page that you want and read it. And I urge everybody to do that, because knowing how you get paid, how you qualify for things, is really your responsibility.
Okay, so the message there is go and find out how to qualify for the mini exactly. Okay, so that's how you qualified. So it was a goal of yours. So how did you set about achieving the 75 customers? Because I guess that's the main thing you can influence. How did you go about that?
So I joined in the July, well, might as well say beginning of August, and I was speaking to a lot of people. I made a list, like your advice to do on training, and one of the ladies I actually spoke to then led me to a networking meeting. I had no idea about networking meetings, and from going to the networking meetings, you get to go to a lot of other meetings, and so I basically told everybody I met, in a controlled manner, probably not very controlled at the beginning, how, you know, that I was really excited about this business and I really wanted this mini. And what that did was I had it also on my phone as a screensaver, computer at home, involved the children. So we started mini spotting. So when we go out, we'd count how many minis we saw and etc., which was great because they're only 6 and 9, so we could do some mental maths as well. And basically involved everybody in this hunt for this mini. It was like, I have to get a mini. through the networking, asking everybody for help, people who I met at the school gates would come up to me and say, have you got your mini yet? So I couldn't sort of, you know, if you've got a big goal, you need to put it out there. So I couldn't sort of like skulk away and go, right, no, and forget about it, because I had told literally everybody. So it was a really, I mean, I was so focused on it because I was convinced it would help me build my business.
Cool. So telling everyone, was that also, did you just tell them, or did you ask them to help? Did you ask them for referrals? What did you do?
Yeah, it was a case of asking them for help and showing them the business. So you've got to remember, this was 9 years ago, and we had a presentation and we did it by hand with paper. So I was telling people my why before it was kind of like a training thing. This was a big reason for me. And it really, people wanted to help me because I'm really nice. And there's also something in it for them as well. It wasn't just, oh, Helen's going to get a new car. Obviously, it was saving the money, we'd have cash back and etc. So it was just a reason. People, if you ask people for a favour, they will help you.
Okay, so as you started gathering the customers and stuff like that, how did you sort of keep on track? How did you sort of keep? I know we've got the partner portal and everything, but mentally, how did you keep track of what you still had to do?
Again, because this was what year was this now? 2009. We didn't have the lovely mini puzzle that you get, so we did this list of 75 car parts. So it was just like an Excel spreadsheet with car parts. So number 1 could be steering wheel, number 2 would be right indicator. So every time I did a customer, I got to tick off an extra bit of the mini. So it's not as visual, I guess, as a jigsaw, but I thought it was good fun for me, knowing that each time I did an appointment, I was closer to getting another bit of the car. And so obviously when you got to the 75, boom, you could put your order in.
I think that's actually where the idea of the jigsaw puzzle came from. Not necessarily from you, but people were putting a list of all the parts and tracking and ticking it off and stuff like that. And then that they came up with a jigsaw that when you get to, is it Flying Club?
I think it's at Flying Club, you get the jigsaw sent to you.
You get it sent to you, but you can now order them from the shop somewhere, and you can get that straight away. So okay, so you started off and it was all going great and whatever. And what sort of was your mindset as you got a bit closer to the magical 75 mark?
I set myself a date because it's really important to have a SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timescale. So I set myself an actual date, and that date was the 31st of May 2010. I remember that because that's my birthday. Actually achieved it about 10 days before that, so I was really, really happy. We had the holiday, the Vegas holiday as well was started then, so it gave me even more impetus to keep going. But it was just keep on going, and you know, by then I had got to team leader, but this was under my own control. How many phone calls I made, how many texts I sent, how many people I spoke to, how many cups of teas and coffees I had, that was under my control. Whether or not they said yes or no wasn't, but I didn't let that deter me. And it was really key for me to have appointments in my diary. And those days I had a paper diary. Now I've progressed onto my iPhone diary, but I had my diary and I just kept on going. I've got my diary right there. I'm throwing things about. So this is my diary. It's lovely and gold and shiny, so I really liked using it. And just kept making sure there was appointments in the diary.
Okay, so you've alluded a bit to ratios there, and us analytical people like ratios and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit more about how you use the ratios to make sure you had enough sort of appointments and customers coming in.
I can't remember the specifics of my actual ratios at the time, but what I can tell you is I had to make, say if I needed to make 20 calls or texts, and out of those I would get 10 appointments, and out of those appointments, to be fair, at that time I was getting about 8 out of 10, which was absolutely fantastic. But you need to work out your ratio, what you're doing. So if you do 10 calls and you get 1 appointment, you know that you need to do 100 calls to get 10 appointments. And out of those 10, whatever you sign up. So you have to keep on going. And it's okay for those some of those calls not to be in because you have actually made it. So you can use that number again and call them again until you actually make contact with them.
Okay, so one of the ratios is obviously doing appointments. So clearly you went to see 75 people and they all signed up. Is that how that worked?
No, not at all. That I've had the no shows. I did whams as well. I had people clearly in their house. I think I pulled up before them. They got into their house. I then rang the doorbell and they weren't in. That was strange. I've had annoyed customers, people shouting at me. But
that was just me.
Yeah.
To be fair.
So you just carry on because it when you've got the goal in mind, that's what kept me going. And testament to that, to be fair, probably jumping ahead, we now have 13 minis in the team.
Okay, so coming back, and I know there were a couple of people, probably mostly family, that sort of sniggered a bit and sneered and said, well, you know, why do you want a mini with writing on it and stuff like that? How did that affect your mindset?
Yeah, definitely my immediate family. To be fair, my siblings did giggle a bit about, ha ha ha, you've got a mini, ha, with writing all over it. But neither of them had a brand new car. And to me, it didn't matter. And the only thing you can see from the mini when you're inside is the writing on the back. And the writing on the back, you may think is to help other people see what you do. But in my mind, when you're in the front seat, in the driver's seat, in the rearview mirror, you can read it every day. Every day it reminds you of what that mini's about.
Okay, so one of the things you mentioned was Vegas. And obviously going for the mini and the holiday promotion starting. Does that obviously mean, from the sounds of it, that the one activity sort of qualified you for two things? And do they still do that now?
Absolutely. So, you know, when you sign a customer, you're getting pizza for definite, you're getting hot business builder points, you're getting holiday points, you're getting hamper points, you're getting mini points. So we only have two things in this business: sign customers, sign partners. That's all we do. 9 years later, that is all I'm still doing. It's not rocket science.
Okay, so you got the mini, you qualified for the mini. Just a couple of things. First, you know, leading up to the mini, did you go to, I hear sometimes people go to the BMW showroom and have a look at the mini and stuff like that. Did you do that sort of thing?
Absolutely. I went for a test drive. I went to see what extras, because the mini website, I'm sure it hasn't changed. I've had a look at it recently. It's very difficult to understand, but it was really key to get inside a car and look at all the bits that you want, because you get a basic mini, which is an absolute top car. But if you want any extras, I am absolutely sold on a sunroof. I love the sun. I love the lights. Why am I in England? I don't know. So I had to have a sunroof. Little tiny bits that you think, oh, I wish I had that. If you can and you want to, pimp out your mini because it's your car. I do so many hundreds and thousands of miles in my car, so it has to be comfortable. So for me, get what you can afford. It doesn't matter. They all look the same on the outside, but for you, it's massive for me. Absolutely massive. Love the mini. It's such a fun drive as well.
Okay, and one of the things I know we did was I enjoyed it, and it was something that I did with some of my team, and you did with we took some of your team as well, was actually go along to the mini factory in Oxford, and you can go on a tour, which is really good. You can see all the robots working, and you can see a mini actually being built from scratch. You actually look along the line and stuff like that. I guess that helps with the visualization of achieving the mini and stuff like that. And if we remember on the people in your team that went along that day, I guess what's the common feature of those people now?
Now have their own minis on the drive. So I think Deborah Phillips went, Joe Jarvis went, I can't remember. He's now stretching my memory. I can't remember who else, but they have the mini on the drive.
And you alluded to earlier that you've now got 13 minis in the team. So what has that actually done for your business? and what effect do you think it had, the fact that you got the Mini first? Did that create a sort of domino effect if people then want to achieve the Mini themselves?
It became sort of almost like a team thing. It's like, well, you're in this team, you must have a Mini. And I've got actually stories from people who joined the business from seeing my Mini at Sainsbury's fuel station. So I think there are 5 TLs that have joined, strangers, from me filling up at the petrol station. And when I picked up the Mini, I'm sure most of you know Emma Walpole-Sullivan. She is a group leader in the business, and I met her a full year before I got my Mini, and she will always tell you, oh, Helen bugged me for a year to join. My side of the story is I was networking with her for a year, and then when I pulled up in the Mini, because she was doing another business that also had a car plan, but not as attainable, she went, wow, if this girl can do it, so can I. So group leader joined the business. In fact, the week I picked up the Mini, I had also gone back to people and said, oh, remember that Mini? I've got it now. I did say BMW Mini, and lots of people just heard BMW. I didn't mislead them. And that week signed up 5 IDs, which is probably the most I've ever done. It may not, you may think, oh, the Minis, they're a bit loud, they're a bit leery, but they're something like £15,500 worth of brand new car advertising your business all the time. Customers, distributors signing up or calling you just because you have one. And it's happened to me numerous times. That story then goes down through the team, and 13 Minis means 13 people who are at least team leader, 13 people who have signed 75 customers. Do the maths. How many group is
No
that?
idea.
A big number, more than 750 group, because they've all gone for the Mini.
Cool. And one of the things I know we've done, and I did with you as well, and we've done it with some other team as well, was whenever we went on holiday, we sort of loaned our Mini to a team member, obviously providing you can arrange insurance and everything like that. What effect do you think that has had on people getting the Mini?
That helps in 2 ways. It gives them belief that, you know, they think, wow, this is real, this is a real Mini, and it gives them a taste of it. And it also helps them with their friends and family, because they may be talking about the Mini and there might not be one in their town, and to actually see and drive a real one gives them credibility as well. It's absolutely awesome that you know that, and plus they're driving your car around where it may perhaps be in an airport car park, and you're getting free advertising in another town that you don't even know, which is really good.
Excellent. And just for the point, I know we had some of people who joined seeing your Mini in the petrol station, and a couple of occasions you weren't even driving, were you?
That's only because you don't like my driving. So he tries to claim these distributors, but it was my car.
Okay. But I was driving. Okay. So just finally ending to wrap up the call, what would be your top tip for anyone who would be thinking about, oh, okay, I've just joined, I'm really brand new, I like the look of that Mini, but can I actually achieve it?
Anybody who has got drive and a determination can get a Mini. Absolutely anybody. There have been over 1,040 issued over the last, I don't even know how many years that we've had the Mini plan. So there is absolutely zero reason. I mean, I'm a caterer. Why? And I managed to get it. There are so many people. If you look on Hot News, on the portal, every day there are people from every single walk of life who can qualify for their Mini. So why not you?
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for that. And not, I understand. I know you're now on your second Mini.
I broke the first one. No.
The first one we sort of ran into the ground and sort of handed back to head office and ran quickly. I have heard a story, one of my team members, and they should remain nameless, who had the Mini and then after 5 years returned it and said it didn't really work for her. And when I asked her how many miles she'd done in the 5 years, I think she said something like 21,000. So it was clear that the Mini was sat on her drive more than anywhere else. What sort of mileage did you do in your first Mini and subsequent Mini?
I do remember my first week hitting 1,000 miles.
1,000 miles in the first week.
I did go to Manchester for an accelerator as well. I have to add that in.
Okay. And how many miles did you do? You met in the first 5 years? How many miles did you do?
It was around 130,000.
120,000 miles. So the message is, if you go and get the Mini, then, you know, go and use it. Go and drive around, tell all the people who helped you, thank you very much. Can you give me some referrals? All the people who said it wouldn't work, then, I don't know, go and do wheel spins outside their house or something like that. And just go and use it as a tool in the business. Well, and, you know, that's what it is. So, final question. The company now have a X5 car plan. Is that on the horizon for you?
Absolutely. I'm building my business to get to group leader, so senior group leader, so I can actually have my own X5, because there's only so many excuses I can use to borrow yours. I've had a really sore leg for ages, so it meant I could only drive automatic cars, and my Mini's a manual, so I'm not quite sure how long I can use the story of my sore leg. But I guess the best thing is to go and get my own X5.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that, Helen. I hope you've all found that of extreme value as to why you should go and get a Mini, and then also how you can target it and work towards it. And you may not do it in 10 months, but if it took you 20 or 30, then why not? Just go for it. It'll help you build your business, help you build your self-esteem. And some of the people, it's one of the tangible signs of success in a business. So I hope you found that of use, and we're here again next week with a new starter call. On Thursday at 9:30 we have the Zoom op. Invite people along to that, and we'll come and do the op for you. I'm also doing, most of you should know this, on the 26th of November we're doing a day at NHQ. So if you fancy a visit to NHQ, just drop me a line if you've not seen that information already, and you come down to NHQ and have a good time. Have a great week. Go out there, plan your activity, go and see those people, share the information we do, and we'll see you all again
soon.
And
wave at every Mini owner you see.
UW one,
obviously.
Thank you very much. Take care. See you later. Bye.